Okay guys, so I have already applied my foundation and base off camera, so we are going to get straight into the video. First things first, I use the Rimmel Wake Me Up foundation. This is in the shade Ivory, and this is a really nice foundation because it is a one where it reduces dullness for a radiant and healthy looking glow, which is what you want from a summer foundation, because traditionally graduations take place in the summertime, so it is like first and second week in July, so at least it'll definitely give you a radiant glow. I'm also going to prime my eyelids using my NYX Photogenic Studio Eyeshadow Base. I'm just going to be rubbing that into my eyes. So we're going to do my eyeshadow first, because whenever you're doing a heavy makeup look, if you do your eyeshadow first, at least you can clean up any areas that you might have any flyaways eyeshadows. Now, as my graduation was split over 2 events, today I am going to be doing the makeup look that I wore for my photos, because my graduation took place in the winter and the eyeshadows that I wore were quite warm tone because it was acceptable to wear darker eyeshadows in December. But because we are going with the traditional date, which is July, we're just going to be going up with my photo makeup look. So first things first, I'm going to be using my MAC Amber x9 palette. This is the palette that I wore for my photographs, so I'm going to be doing a demonstration with you guys with this palette. I also did a 3 looks 1 palette back in March, April time, so that is available to watch on my channel if you guys wish. So I'm going to be taking the first shade, which is called Georgia Peach. This is the matte shade, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying this as my transition shade. I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer. And then I'm going to be doing this eye with you guys, and then I'll go off camera to finish the other eye before we get onto my face makeup. So what I'm doing is I'm just using this domed blendy brush just to take that through the crease. And then this is going to act as our eraser when we come to put the darker colour on shortly. I absolutely love this shade because it's one of them shades that you can just use even on its own because it's so natural looking. It blends in with my eyelid colour, and also got like a primer on because my eyelids are quite veiny. I didn't really want that to show up through my eyeshadow, especially if you're being photographed, because aside from your wedding, graduation is one of the most photographed days of your life, and you want to be making sure you're looking your absolute best, because you will be looking back on this for a number of years, or maybe the rest of your life, or it might be the photo is hanging in your parents' house. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this shade here, which is called Cork. It's quite a warm mustard brown yellow matte shade, and I'm just going to be using this smaller brush just to focus this on the outer part of the eye, because this is quite a warm colour, and if you put too much on it can look quite heavy looking, especially if wherever you're having the photographs is more prone to flashback. Because when I had my photos taken, it was in a studio where they had to use like really bright lights, and although mine didn't flash back because they had like proper professional lighting, if anybody else was getting photographs taken, it might be either in a studio or you might be doing it in actual daylight where it might be more prone to flash. But when I had this on for my photographs, this didn't flash or have any like kickbacks. So I mean, everybody's different, so you don't have to follow my tutorial if you don't want to. You can also just use this as some inspiration, or if you have any similar products that you might want to use, or if you've got your own idea and you just want to go with a totally different colour scheme altogether. The only reason I went with golds and bronzes was because it's a versatile colour and it's timeless, so especially if you're wanting to make yourself look more like you, because later down the line your pictures will thank you. And I also went with the colour dress that I had on, so if in case you are wondering, I'm going to insert a picture at the end of what colour my dress was. My dress at my graduation, this is a crop top, it was like this colour, so I had to make sure I could wear something that would go with the shade Apricot, which is a similar colour to what a peach would be. So, and this was very tricky to cater for, but I did manage to overcome that barrier, so at least something is out there. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be using this brush without dipping into any more product, just to blend that out, because I am keeping this fairly neutral, because if graduation had happened originally it would have been a daytime one, so I'm going to keep the eyeshadow fairly natural. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing my eyelid colour now. No cut crease today because we are wanting to keep this soft glam theme. So the eyeshadow I'm going to be using for my lid, I've just applied it without telling you guys what it is. It's this middle shade here, which is called Creative Copper. This is a luster shadow, and this brush was not being sprayed, so this will be applied on my eyelid with a dry brush, and I'm just going to be packing this all over the eyelid. I love this shadow so much because it is so creamy and easy to apply and to blend, and then it's just, and I love the kickback as well. There's no like flyaway powder, and it's just something that I can easily coat on my eyelid. And then because I'm doing this in my viewfinder as well, it was one of these ones where you can just use that as a mirror and one coat and you're pretty much good to go. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be taking that little brush. I'm not dipping into any more shadow, just to darken up that socket a little bit more. I'm now going to come back to doing my other eye and my mascara after I've done my face. So we'll do my face now. Like I said, I've already done my foundation, so we're going to go on to powder. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm using this Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is in the shade Transparent because, especially if you're at a formal event, there won't be many opportunities to reapply until maybe well after the ceremony. So what I would say is, if you were to go in with a foundation, I would suggest a light coverage radiant foundation like the one I've just used, or I would recommend using a BB cream because it looks more natural. And then what I would say is, if you are using a brush, I would definitely say, because I've learned this from different YouTubers, if you like dab your brush on before you put it on your face, it looks more softer and it doesn't look as caked on, shall I say. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be doing a quick wash of powder just to set my under eyes in any areas that I want to, set for my photographs. I mean, you don't have to do this. This bit is totally optional, because if powder's not for you, then feel free to skip this part altogether. So the blusher I am using is this Kiko one. Originally I used the Rimmel Maxi blush in the shade Exposed, but I have since used that up. This is a great replacement. However, the Rimmel one was a matte one. This one has a very subtle sparkle rose gold sheen to it, but it does the same job because I have used this quite a lot this year. So I'm confident that if I found a blusher that does the same job, at least we roll with it and I stick with it, because when you are going to a big event, you'll want to use products that you know and you trust and that you've tried, because at the end of the day, it's one of the most important milestones in your lifetime, and you don't really want to be using new products where, one, it may disagree with your skin because it's not used to it, but also it might break out in spots, and you've spent thousands and thousands on this event and to get to this certificate and this point. So you want your skin to feel its absolute best. So I'd say the best thing to do is maybe give it a trial maybe 3 months beforehand, and then do it again maybe nearer the time. For me, it would have been about a month beforehand would suffice, because at least you've got time to change your mind should things not work out. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a little bit of this bronzer, because traditionally it depends if you have decided to get spray tans, you might want to just do a light coat of bronzer just to give a gentle sun-kissed glow. The one I'm using is the Rimmel Radiant Brick. I've not used this for a long time, and this was the actual bronzer that I use for my photographs, because it is a nice shimmery ultra fine multi-toning bronzer for soft shimmer effects and a glamorous healthy look and glow. Use single shades or a sun-kissed look to contour and highlight features, or apply all over the face if you just wanted to use it as a normal bronzer. This also has a highlighter in, so if you're like me and you're not a fan of chiseled cheekbones, this will definitely be the product for you. So at least you've got something for everybody. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do my other eye quickly and I will see you very soon. Okay guys, so my eye is now ready, so we are going to go on to the finishing off the underneath the lower lash line. So I'm going to be taking this shade here, which is the shade above the one that I put all over the lid. This one here, that is called Kitties. It is a nice champagne colour and it's nice and light to put under my lower lash line, and I'm just going to be doing a light wash of this because when you run eyeshadow underneath your lower lash line, and especially if it's a neutral one, it definitely makes your eyes look bigger and it wakens you up so you're ready for your day ahead. Because originally my graduation was taking place, it was late morning, so I definitely might have had to get up early to allow time to like get ready, do my makeup and or hair. So what I would say is definitely using, even if you use like a matte white, it'll definitely make your eyes appear bigger. And then I feel like gold also makes dark eyes really stand out because it definitely gives a contrast, and majority of colours will go with me, especially with your, same goes with clothing, it depends on your skin tone. And then like if you're like me, the majority of colours will go with my hair colour, and I would definitely say gold goes with my hair colour. And then at least you've got a whole array of colours to play with. Now this is totally optional, you can do this one, or again you can skip this out, you can use a liquid liner. The one I'm using is a Benefit roller liner. So because I didn't do liner on my graduation photos, I'm going to be doing one eye with and one eye without. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to be showing you how I actually did it, and then I'm going to be going on to the liner if you guys wish to apply that yourselves. So we're going to go straight on to mascara. The one I actually used, I've now used up, and it was the MAC, that was the Hot and Naughty, but I do have a replacement that I can use, and this is just this Ted Baker Mini. And I'm just going to be applying this just to my lashes. Just the one coat for this one because I really want my lashes to appear long. Again, totally optional, you can also apply some individual or full strip false lashes. Now I didn't apply false lashes because I wasn't sure how they would go or whether it would suit my eye shape, and a graduation is not the time to be trying new things, especially if you're going to be photographed. Plus as well, if you sweat, the eyeshadow glue will start to come undone, and then you might have your strip like sticking out, and that's the last thing you want in your photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the one coat and then take this upwards, and hopefully if you were to apply any liner, oops I just did a massive clump there, I'm also going to use that to trace along the lash line because at least it gives it your stencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a bit, I'm just going to use my finger for this because I've realised I've applied way too much. There we go, I'm trying to get it off before it dries. Oops, I definitely just wiped that on there. I'm also going to put a little bit of more of that coat colour on that little bit that got removed, just to fix this because we are not expert, whatever that is. I'm just going to use my mirror to do this because this is really fiddly and it's the one where I can't talk while I'm doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trace along, and we're going for a thin, no winged line. And take your time when you're doing this because black liquid liner especially is very difficult to remove if you were to make a mistake. The last thing I'm going to be doing with you guys is a lip. Now, I didn't wear any lip liner, but I would recommend that you do because it prepares your lip for when you put your actual lipstick on, and it also makes it last longer. For my photos, I actually used the MAC lipstick, satin lipstick in the shade Twig, but I have already used a MAC product and I want to keep this fairly budget friendly because I am being mindful that a lot of you might not have much money to purchase the lipstick I've got. However, I have got a great drugstore alternative, and it's this one here. This is the Rimmel Lasting Finish lipstick in the shade Asia number 77, which I think is a fantastic alternative to Twig because it is a Really nice finish. Yeah, I'm doing a demonstration on the back of my hand. It's a nice pinky brown colour. I also did a full MAC dupes video, so if you'd like to watch that, I will link that in my description box below. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a wash of this onto my lip. You can also blot this to stamp this into your lip to make it last longer, but I'm not going to bother with that today. And that, guys, is my graduation makeup complete. So I hope you enjoyed me talking you through my graduation makeup that I wore for my photos, as well as telling the story of my graduation and then doing some tips and tricks of how you can achieve a very timeless graduation look yourself. I do have some more of these theme videos coming up, so keep an eye out for my channel in the coming months. Be sure to hit the bell down below, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Thanks for watching.